Alrighty, welcome back, boys and girls. It's your main math man, Mr. N, coming to you live from Mayfield. In this video, we're going to be working through these homework number 2. And again, same ideas. You're going to be working with these inequalities, but you want to make sure that you can use your inverse operations, get that variable by itself, and then that way you can graph out that solution. Also, you want to make sure that you have that variable on the left side, and you want to make sure that you are saying, hey, is 0 a solution? Meaning when you are highlighting it, meaning you're including those values as possible answers, is 0 one of them? All right, so first, number 1, it says 4x minus 1 is less than 7. So again, you want to always do the opposite, and so we're going to add 1 to both sides. The 1s cancel out on the left. Let me draw that out. On the right, what are we left with? We're left with 8 as the 4x comes down. And so we have 4x is less than 8. Always divide by the coefficient, and so we divide both sides by 4. So divide by 4. And we are left with x is less than 2. So now, again, our variable's on the left, and we can be able to highlight this in. So again, go to that value that you're looking at, so we're going to be on 2. And since it has it's not filled in, meaning there's no line underneath, so we're not going to include 2 as our possible answer. So I'm going to put an open circle on 2, and I'm going to highlight everything to the left. Again, the reason why I have my variable on the left is it helps me graph our solution. So we're saying everything less than positive 2. And then the last question, is 0 a solution? Well, when we look, is 0 highlighted? Yes, it is. Or if you wanted to plug it in, you could say 0 is less than 2. Since this is a true statement, you know you are good. In number 2, it says negative 28 is less than or equal to positive 8 plus 9x. Again, we're trying to get that variable term by itself, trying to isolate that variable, and so we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. On the right side, the 8's cancel out, and the 9x comes down. On the left side, we're going to have negative 36. Again, we can make sure that we are dividing both sides by the coefficient, so we divide both sides by 9. Again, even though we are ending up with a negative value, we don't have to switch the direction just yet. And so we're going to be left with negative 4 is less than or equal to x. Make sure, though, you have your variable on that left side. Again, we always want that variable on the left side, that way it is easier to graph. And so you want to make sure that you are changing that direction. That means you have to still see, I need to make sure that this is the larger value. So again, notice how it's saying that you could say the alligator's eating the larger amount. And so you could say, hey, it's still eating that x value. So we're still saying x is greater than negative 4. And so since we have a filled in line, we're going to have a filled in circle. And so when we go to graph this solution, we're going to have a filled in circle on negative 4. So we're saying all those values, including negative 4 and above negative 4, are solutions. So again, we fill in the circle on negative 4, and then we graph everything to the right. Again, notice how the arrowhead is matching our inequality symbol. And then we say, is 0 a solution? Yes, it is. As you can clearly see, it's there. In number 3, be very careful on this one. This one is a tricky one, but we're always making sure we can challenge ourselves. That way we can make ourselves better. So now it has 12 is less than x divided by negative 2 plus 11. Again, get the variable term by itself, and so we subtract 11 from both sides. On the right side, the 11s cancel out, and we're left with 1 is less than x over negative 2. So now, we want to make sure that we can, if it's giving us division, we want to be able to do the inverse, which is multiplication. And so we're going to multiply both sides by that negative 2. So we multiply the left and the right by a negative 2. And make sure you have this idea anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, the inequality symbol changes direction. So we're going from less than, and we're going to now have flip that around, and we're going to have a greater than. So we're saying negative 2 is greater than x, but also make sure you see you want to have that variable on the left side. So again, be very mindful as you do this. Take your time, take a deep breath if you get fatigued or tired, and be able to apply out your answer. So we're going to say that x is less than negative 2. Again, these two last lines are the same statement, and so we make sure that throughout the entire thing we are keeping it true. So we do not have a filled in line, so we're not going to have a filled in circle. And so on negative 2, we have an open circle. So open circle, and we're going to be plotting it, all the values less than that. So we're going to be going to the left. And then we say, is 0 a solution? Well, I can look on my graph, and I can plug in 0 to check, and I can say, no, 0 is not a solution. Meaning, if I was to plug in 0, 0 is not less than negative 2, and so we know that is the case. Very last one. I already have it up there because I forgot to change it, but that's okay. We'll go through it step by step. A little bit of spoilers there. But it says for number 4, negative 5x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 11. Again, get the variable term by itself, and so we add 4 to both sides. And so on the left side, we are left with just that that negative 5x, and we have greater than or equal to 15. Always divide by the coefficient, so we have that we're dividing both sides by negative 5. And we are left with, again, make sure you're having that same idea. Anytime we multiply or divide by a negative, that inequality symbol changes direction. So again, make sure you're seeing, if we start with a greater than, we're now going to have a less than or equal to. So we're going to say that x is less than or equal to positive 3. Or excuse me, that should be a negative 3. Negative 3. Again, be careful as you're doing this for yourself. So again, let's see. I had added 4 to both sides. I have negative 5x, 15, divide both sides by negative 5. Inequality symbol changes, and I have 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. Okay, now we're good. Alright. Always double check it over your answers. That way we are good. And again, since we have a filled in line, we're going to have a filled in circle. And so we go to a negative 3. And so we say, all right, on negative 3, we have a filled in line. Let me try that one more time. Negative 3, we're going to have a filled in line. Perfect. And again, make sure you can say for yourself, is 0 a solution? Well, we can see as we plot it out, what is it going to look like? Well, again, we're going to the left, so we had a filled in circle on negative 3, and we're going to the left, because we're saying everything less than negative 3 is an answer. And so is 0 shaded in? Is 0 less than negative 3? No, it is not. And so we could say 0 is not a solution. be able to check for yourself any of those scenarios and slam that subscribe button.